We're going live.
We're probably live.
We are live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our live PGA DFS show for the 2021 Genesis Invitational. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us live. And if you can't join us live, thank you for joining us on the replay. Everyone's got commitments. We understand that. Thank you for joining us either way. We already got some chatter in the chat here, Craig. Welcome, guys.
Sorry, it's not okay. If you can't join us live, I don't even want you to watch this. No, yeah, of course.
How dare you?
I feel slighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, it feels like a friggin' major with the field this week.
It's awesome.
I think everyone but Patrick Reed seems to be playing. I guess Daniel Berger was pulled out, but yeah, strong field makes for hard to build DFS lineups.
We were kind of talking offline. Sometimes I think we both prefer kind of like Mayakoba, Bahamas,
AT&T Pebble.
Hey, yeah.
From a DFS point of view, I think it's a lot easier to be profitable.
The other thing too to think about is we might have people that just play NFL coming in, seeing the big names coming and playing, and then that adds a variable we don't know from the rest. Like,
oh yeah, no
of the
web. I
golf
didn't
year.
even think about that. What up, Jamaican Warbird, Tim, Mike, Steve Davidson on the tee. Looks like Mike's got a few beers out.
Hey,
Adam's
cheers.
joining him. I'm hitting the clear stuff.
Wow, that is some good Russian vodka.
Um,
Хорошо, very nice.
yeah, no, but yeah. So I find it much more difficult these kind of weeks because what do you do? Where do you fade? What do there's so many guys in the top 30 here that can win this tournament.
100%.
Whereas it felt like last week, maybe. I mean, although Nate Lashley came from 7,000 or 7,100,
Yeah.
but I just have a hard time seeing someone come from, below 8K and have a very. I mean, obviously, it could happen. It's just, it's a long ways for those guys to come up and win this thing.
Yeah, I never.
So
If anybody thinks they know what's going to happen, I mean, we talked about this on our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, invite is below. Come join that. Golf is random. We don't know what's going to happen. We try to find the slivers of predictability that we can, and then paint a picture from there. But I mean, like, yeah, it could be DJ, it could be Finau, it could be Spieth. I mean, Rom could blow up. JT could have his best driving week of his life. We don't know.
yeah. Yeah, nice to hear, Jamaican Warbird. A nice hot Coke always goes well. It'll match my nice little scarf here. Okay, so general strategy. What's your approach? I heard you said you were loading up on 7K guys.
Yeah, so I think it was mentioned in one of our comments on our shows, maybe Jamaican Warbird, he was talking about it. People going kind of 10K, 9K, and a bunch of 7Ks. I I kind of went like that, but I feel like I've found ways to be different, and I'll talk about that probably more in the 7Ks. I have a couple favorites in the 10s that are, so I didn't leave anybody out. I think you're crazy. I tweeted it out.
Everybody's invited.
Everybody's
Everybody's
invited.
invited to the party.
Because I mean, yeah, JT can win. Yeah, Bryson can win. I got more of some of the others, but they can all equally win this. If somebody thinks DJ's 13% and Bryson's 11%, I mean, chances to win,
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
nothing.
See, I took a different approach. So I went. I feel like I am certain that the guys I picked at the top are going to be in the top five. So
Oh man.
I didn't. I want to take my shots. Like I feel like there's a lot of guys. I have, maybe 15 guys in the 7K range, and I feel like I want to match as many of those guys up with the people I like at the top, so that if I get that right combination. But I think to me, you either have to narrow it at one point or the other, because otherwise you're sort of limiting your ability to hit one of those combos right.
Yeah. Isn't there something about like the males in our family with like this amazing confidence? I think we're both exhibiting that right now. We,
Overconfidence.
yeah, we don't lack confidence. Um, Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Great support all week. We've really liked the likes, the comments, all of that. So continue the support. We really appreciate it. Okay, Craig, how about we just go 10K and above? Give the
Yep.
people what they're here to see, to hear. Who are you fading and
I'm playing
why?
one guy above 10K.
That's mind-boggling.
I'm actually, I'll make it clear for you. I'm playing no one in the 10Ks.
Hello, DJ.
It's either 11K or lower. And you know what? That said, I'm going to play a lot of Showdown with those guys. To me, it's just, I think DJ is value still at 11.3. And then I just don't want to spread that out. So like I want to have as many combinations of him with the guys I want to have as his second in. And then so I have DJ in 55%.
Wow. Actually, so
I
that's
want to have an edge. So like even if he's 30% own, I want to have leverage on the field with him still.
it's kind of amazing because we didn't have DFS when Tiger was on his runs. I mean, we sometimes get these dominant streaks in the sports, in other sports, and it's hard to price. Like I remember Christian McCaffrey in his MVP year 2 years ago. Like they couldn't price him high enough that he wasn't hitting value.
He still had to be chalk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of DJ. Like his winning percentage, his that TaylorMade video they put out today, he mishit most of his balls and he cleaned up Morikawa and Wolf no problem.
Well, that's the thing is that right now, and that's what I was going to get to is like, even if he doesn't win, his floor is so high that, you know, sometimes you'll look at the top finishes, you know, you'll look through the top 10 to see who people had in their lineups and you'd be like, oh, like this person, you know, he had JT and JT was an 8th in this tournament, but like he hit on all those lower ones. So like DJ with a top 10, if I hit my lower guys well, he's going to, you know, maybe he doesn't have 140 points, but he has 110 with his 7th place finish. It's just his floor right now is so high that I want a piece of it. Whereas, so you look at JT, at Rory. I think Rahm has a pretty high floor right now.
Yeah.
But Bryson as well. I think those guys, you can, you know, it wouldn't be surprising if they were in the 20s. It would be, you know, it would be a bad tournament for them, but it wouldn't be that shocking for it to happen.
I mean, chances are all, what is that, 5 guys are going to be in the top 25 from some combination of 1 to 25 or top 30, you know? And so, okay, DJ is my highest owned here. I got 30% of him. I'll probably be a little bit overweight. I love you shooting your shot. I think that's a great strategy. My next highest is actually Rory and Bryson, both at 25%.
Yeah.
And
so taking the it's a driver's course approach.
Well, I think Bryson is too cheap. He's a winner. Like there's going to be very few DFS weeks where I don't play Bryson. Like his ability to win and get these huge points, these birdies and eagles is just outstanding. So I'm gonna ride him probably until he has an injury or something, or he completely falls off. Roar, I feel like, is turning the corner. JT, a little bit, like he hasn't been his best, but I still got 10% there. And Rahm, I don't. Maybe Rahm will be the chalkiest because he's kind of like the cheapest of the elite 4. But I
so it's funny because of those guys, I had the hardest time leaving off JT and Rahm.
Really?
Yeah. So I see this as like driving is obviously an advantage here. No, I'm not. PY, I'm not scared by that tied for 11th. He was barely back to playing golf at that point. That's just him rolling out of bed to a tied for 11th.
He was still in sea legs, man.
I think it's the importance of second shots at this course that made me think that. Rory, I'm like, you know, I'm the biggest Rory fan out there. So looking back to the Farmers, and I remember I faded him I had a full fade on him at Waste Management, and then I went back and plugged in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, I want to see that approach play from Rory before I'm willing. And that said, we've seen positive approach from probably 4 tournaments straight now. But maybe it's just the eye test. It feels to me like he keeps putting himself in scoring opportunities and then not taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like putting himself in with a good 10-foot putt from, you know, 200 yards out, or whether it's he's 130 yards out because he's put himself in absolutely perfect position, and then he still gets the green reg, but it's like it's 15 feet instead of that being like at 5 feet. Whereas JT is the one that JT. I feel like his scoring game is in a really good place. It's more to me the driver that the potential erraticness of the driver, whereas DJ to me just has a safer floor than all those guys right now.
I agree.
So
I completely agree. The one thing
that said, like all these guys have such a good chance to win this tournament.
It's almost pointless to talk about them because they're all going to be similarly owned. They all have a fairly similar chance to win. The one thing with Rory that I was going to say, I don't know if this is true or it's just stuck in my mind since the Masters, but it seems like he'll go 66, 65, 72, 67. There's always that one round where and
totally
I feel like
agree. And that's why I'll be hammering him. I'll be hammering all those guys in Showdown once I have an idea. Like, DJ's going to jump out to a first round lead, and then everyone's going to start owning him in Showdown. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm happy to take Rory, who was 1 over in his first round, and he's going to come out and shoot 66 the next day. So Jamaican Warbird, I agree. So we'll get into Xander and Cantlay, but I have quite a few lineups that I've started. So I paired up. DJ and Xander was my most expensive combination to start with, and I don't know. I did that in a couple. I don't know if I did that in a ton, but I definitely did partner DJ up with guys in the 9Ks.
So if we move past 10K here, I'm going to prompt you with a question, Craig, because we've got a couple in the chat. Adam Scott is a much talked about guy, and I'm gonna show your hand if you're okay with it. You went Adam Scott in the one and done, but as I think, you have no Adam Scott in DFS. So what's the rationale there? Because I think it's interesting.
It's a pure ownership. Like I like Adam Scott's upside in this, and I'm totally fine playing him. If people get there in DFS, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
I just think he's gonna be above 20%, and like ownership projections, I don't buy into them. Like everyone is just using different algorithms that like ultimately we don't know. If we could accurately project ownership, DFS golf would be, it'd just be pure math, and you'd just be playing the guys who you'd have as accurate projections as you can. And with golf, you can start to get decent ranges of expectations.
And there's always a week where it's like, Henley was projected for 13, but he's 27% owned.
Yeah. And that's where I feel Scott is going to be 20%-ish. And I could be wrong on that, but just the course history, I mean, I like him though. So I won and done him. I just think his ownership is going to be high. I think that I would rather spend the money, and we'll get into that range. Maybe we so I think we're good in this 10K range. You're playing everyone. I'm fine playing everyone. I've just decided to load up on DJ.
Yeah, and Barry said, anyone surprised seeing Rob not in his usual second or third spot in pricing? It's just such a loaded field. And I feel like these top four, maybe if you add Bryson, the top five guys are so interchangeable with their ebbs and flows of their year that one gets a win, so they're priced above the other one, or one has a couple bad tournaments in their price.
The difference between Rom and Rory is negligible. Like essentially, you're talking about $100 when like it's a percent of their price.
Yeah.
So it is unusual, I think, just because we have seen Rom. Probably Rory is the one that's unusual to see above Rom. That would be the one to me that is the unusual one there. But I think it's also just because they know that people want to play these guys, and probably the fourth and fifth the last 2 years comes into play there from Rory, whereas Rahm, he has a decent history, but it's just not as high. 17th and 9th the last 2 years. I think all these guys are good plays. I think ultimately it's just you kind of go with your gut. My gut's telling me DJ, and then if we're ready to move on, my next highest owned guy, my gut is telling me is Xander. So I've gone 50% Xander.
All right. I mean, I kind of think there's three obvious guys that could take the next leap into that top five. And I think Xander's as good. It's okay. Well, maybe more than three guys, but let's hear your rationale on Xander.
Oh man, I honestly think Xander could be priced second in this field.
I think he would go lower owned. I think.
I just, to me, like, there's DJ, and then these next 5 guys are a tier unto themselves, and so Xander, like getting Xander $800 cheaper than JT, I'll take it. Obviously, and yeah, I if you look at what Xander's done over the past couple months, it's crazy. Like it's second, fifth, 17th, 17th, second, fifth, first. He's killing it. So and Warbird, I agree. So that's why if DJ is chalky and if Xander's chalky, I want to be even chalkier. Like I want to have them and have the leverage the other way on the field. If they do well, then I'm beating more people than have it.
Yeah, I love it. I like Xander. I only got him at 20%. That'll probably be about field average.
Yeah.
It's because I went a little bit high to Bryson. I think Bryson's ability to win is higher. I think Xander might have better top 5. Like you can almost
Xander's got a higher probability of the 54-hole lead, and then he will find a way to not close the deal. But yeah,
it's a super interesting. So I got basically 3 main plays here. I got Xander, Cantlay, and Finau in the 9Ks.
Those are my 3, the only 3 plays I have in the 9K.
So I took one lineup with Adam Scott. Actually, while we're here, let me.
Oh yeah, he's 9. I started was lumping him into the guys in the high 8s, but yeah, I mean, so Brooks, I'm fine with Brooks' play. If you think Brooks is back, I mean Brooks is. I'm just not paying Xander dollars for Brooks right now.
So let me just talk quickly about my pool here. I got 35 players this week. I have 13 of those are in just one lineup. And then I have 5 plays.
Sorry, 13?
13 of those are just in one lineup.
And that is down in the 7s, I'm assuming?
It's all over the place.
Oh, it's scattered all over the place.
I got gotcha. An Adam Scott, a Bubba Watson, 1 each. Yeah.
So I have 26, and I have 2 guys that are just a single lineup.
26 and 2 guys. So when we take away the single lineups, we're both around 23, 24, which is interesting.
Well, I'm actually at 24. Yeah, that's true.
The one I really like in this range is Finau.
So you've got Xander at 20%. What about Cantlay?
I got Cantlay at 15%. I feel like I wish I could have gone there more, but I either wanted to go up to Xander or down to Finau. Maybe take it away.
Por cual no los dos. I have, why not both? I have some that are Xander, Cantlay, Finau lineups. So I've got 40%. Xander, Cantlay's my 3rd highest owned player behind DJ and Xander.
You believe in Cantlay. I love it. I feel like a proud parent or something passing along. Hey, you can borrow Cantlay for the weekend.
Man, Cantlay, I think he kills it in this West Coast swing. I think his form is awesome. I just think there's so many things, so many reasons to like Cantlay this week.
We talked about on our podcast, man. I think Cantlay's a major winner soon. I think he's going to take the leap. I mean, he has so much talent.
So much talent and so much consistency.
He doesn't, another thing is he doesn't care about these guys. Like it doesn't get to him. Like it's not gonna be scared having DJ around. I don't think he's been a Sunday leader at Augusta when Tiger won. He's been around. It's just a matter, and he's won, I guess, just once in the past few months, but has broken
a stacked field.
Has broken 2 course records in the last 2 weekends. Yeah. Or tied them.
I mean, he easily could have, if he got a little bit more rub of the green last week, he easily could have won. I just think Cantlay's game's in a really good place. To me, I'm looking at these blue chip stocks that I think people are undervaluing the underlying intangible assets.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the hype momentum plays. I guess I am. I'm just looking to overinvest in them.
Colin Morikawa, did he get there at all?
No. So those are the only 3 I have in the whole 9K.
Oh, okay.
So no Morikawa. I don't. So and like none of these plays I don't mind. I think Morikawa. I worry a little bit about the distance. I worry a little bit about the putting. I kind of want to see it.
I kind of think. You know what? I think it's about speed for me. I think it changes the speed. I'm doing the claw here if you can't tell. I,
It's like,
um,
have you
I
practiced it at all?
no, I was going to. I forgot, but my putting's so locked in. I don't even know why I would bother.
Yeah, you're just gonna mess with yourself.
For some reason, to me, I do think it's the speed a little bit, like the speed of putts. And Poana maybe gets a little bit bumpy. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm happy he's tinkering. I'm happy he's continuing to work. I think a lot of these guys just think that continuing to use the answer style putter and putt exactly like Tiger Woods does is going to work for them. I mean, Jordan Spieth is one of the best putters in the world. He goes cross-handed. Um,
yeah, there's no wrong way
I,
to putt. You,
to
but
me though, I would like to see Morikawa try cross-handed or arm lock as opposed to the saw. I
yeah,
just haven't seen that many people successful with this at the highest levels yet. So that's the one thing where it's like you think about the cross-handed, which maybe I'm just biased because that's what I'm doing now. But my boy Xander does it, Jordan Spieth does it. Like it's a lot more accepted, I think, and a lot more battle tested at the highest levels.
and I think arm lock is like almost borderline illegal.
I
But
wouldn't be surprised if arm lock gets if they change the rules around
so
that.
the funny thing is, like the chatter is like, well, he can't get worse at putting. Like, yeah, for a single
He
tournament, he
could get.
absolutely can.
Yeah.
Like he
There's two
is,
ways you could go.
he's like what 120th? Yeah, there's like 240 PG like
Well, no, I
below
think
the
he's
stats.
190th.
100,
But even still, like just ask Hideki. Ask Hideki if there's still another way you could go.
and you know what though? Jamaican Warboard, if he's your sneaky play, go all in. Like we said, like there's so
And
much talent here.
his ownership, I think his ownership will be low. So like,
I actually think it'll be medium. I think it'll be 10 to 15% still.
oh yeah, yeah. So Burger's out. Finau, we both like.
Okay, let's talk about Finau for a sec.
Okay.
He seems like the most obvious play here, and I don't understand why he's not being talked about more. I actually put an outright bet on Finau for the first time I think in my life. Um,
What's his
I think it's
odds?
25 to 1 or I don't know. It's on our card on Twitter. I tweeted it out, but he's playing so well right now. He's priced around guys that are like he's like lumped into this former Masters winner, not having like with a lot of question marks. When I think Finau is so rock solid. Like if we're talking about the floor of DJ, the floor of Finau is
Yeah,
incredible.
agree. Well,
Uh,
I mean, ultimately, my top four plays: DJ, Xander, Cantlay, and Finau. I feel like the floor of all four of those guys is very, very high right now.
yeah. And the only reason I didn't take him in one and done is because I'm saving him for a major.
Whew. Tipped your hand.
I did.
Okay, so yeah, Finau we're both on. I am only 30% there. So this is essentially, I mean, 30% is still my next highest, but essentially my highest owned is DJ, and we've gone down in percentage with every guy, and we're at 30% on Finau.
Yeah, I'm 30% as well. PY, Finau top five ownership, probably. That's fine.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm completely
I
okay
think I'll
with
have a
it.
bit of an edge on at 30, but I suspect he'll be in the 20s. I mean,
There's
it's
a,
so tough because of like how loaded this field is. It's so tough to know what people are going to do at the top here. But to me, Finau stands out. Like you're saying in this range, I think Finau could be in the high nines here.
I forget exactly what it is. I completely agree, but there's something like Millie Makers haven't been around in DFS golf for a while, but there's maybe 10, and Finau's been in almost half of them, like the winning lineups or the optimal lineups. Just like he scores so well.
Hmm.
He does so well in these great events.
Yeah. Okay, so Spieth, I'm assuming you're there.
No, no, I'm not there. Was that
I was
sarcastic? I don't
I
know.
was joking, yeah.
Okay,
I don't mind the Spieth play. I think it's
fine.
sneaky if you're buying the momentum. I'm not there. I think that I think that Spieth is back into a competitive form. I think we're going to see a little bit the difference between the AT&T Pebble Beach field and
Yeah.
like essentially there's maybe 20 guys in this field that would have been at or around or above
Yeah.
where the best guys were last week, you know? So, um,
I am buying the confidence of Spieth, and I think that's huge. Maybe more so for his game than most other golfers. Like his confidence seems to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
turned
Oh,
corners.
I'm buying that the comeback. I think more so than you and Kevin, who both sounded hesitant on the podcast. I'm buying that the comeback is there.
Yeah,
I just, to me, it's still not DFS. Like maybe if we're talking mid to low eights here, but I don't see the value there at
yeah.
92.
Okay, so where does that leave
So
us?
Hideki, you plugged in a little bit of Adam Scott. You said.
Yeah, I got one lineup. Adam's got one. Bubba, no Hideki.
No Hideki for me either. Good course history. I just need to see a little bit more from Hideki before I'm going to be rostering him.
That's exactly it. I need to see a little bit. I mean, it could be Thursday and go into a Friday showdown. Sure, I'll buy Hideki. I'll buy him as soon as I see that little uptick. But
Yeah,
man, we just haven't seen it at all.
yeah.
So
Okay,
that
now we're
takes us
into
to
I
the
think the
8K.
spiciest range here.
Okay, we're in spicy range. Sorry, I'm reading out
So
of frame here to get the numbers here. So from
so we've got Adam Scott, we've got Bubba Watson, we've got Neiman, we've got Hovland. I think those four to me are like potentially the most interesting range of this whole tournament.
I mean, it's an interesting group of golfers, but what makes it interesting, you think?
Well, so essentially, you've got the top two guys have won this 5 times between the two of them. The
Yep.
bottom two, I don't think, have a start here. Oh no, Neiman does. Hovland doesn't. But
Hovland did
I
play
just
in.
think this is probably the range where I'm going to be most interested come tomorrow morning in checking ownership levels to see. Like, essentially,
Yeah,
I'm taking
yeah.
the approach. I have stayed away from Scott and Watson and gone on Neiman and Hovland because I think there's going to be. I think that their ownership numbers will be lower and they have the upside.
I mean, it's hard for me to predict ownership around here. I'm just going with I'm, I guess I'll say more talented players, and that's Neiman and Hovland. And that's why I have one Adam Scott, I have one Bubba, kind of hedging. Bubba, I mean, there's Bubba tracks. Bubba can pop, so like hedge. Maybe I'll have one and get
If you haven't
lucky.
read, did you read that Bubba article I sent you?
No, but I've had it up in a tab for a while.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
It's
There's a
been
good Bubba article out on PGAtour.com about just it dealing with anxiety and ADHD and all of the things and, social and generalized anxiety. Just really good article
yeah,
if you guys are into, reading about people publicly talking about dealing with mental health issues.
totally.
I just think it's awesome.
Yeah,
Just real quick, MD, Kokrak or Ortiz, I think we'll both be on the same page there. I think in a sec we'll get there.
yeah.
Scheffler we'll get to in a sec. Round one showdowns. I typically don't play round one showdowns because to me, I think the huge advantage with showdowns is anticipating where ownership is going, and I don't know
Yes,
that
yes,
in round
yes.
one, so I find that going forward. I mean, the other thing is I just also, I don't know, on DraftKings I'm trying to get my whatever it is 120 or 130 days where I play PGA contests so that I can get those sweet 25,000 crowns. um,
Oh, I love it, Craig.
I've already got my play in for Thursday.
Yeah, please keep sending either our questions or names you want to hear. We will try to we will skip ahead, but we'll answer them when we get there. Peck. So I kind of completely agree with Craig. I think the reason we like round 2, 3, and 4 showdowns is because we actually have data that we can use and gain leverage on the field. Besides just who I like for the tournament, and maybe like a sliver of round 1 stats or um, round 1 history, early starters, or course advantages or weather. Those are the only things I look for in round 1, and basically there's none of that. So it would be basically playing a tournament lineup to see if they get off to a hot start.
Man, I'm sorry to disappoint all you guys who like my fashion so much, but my neck's just getting a little bit hot.
That was a scarf. I thought that was a turtleneck this whole time.
No, I was rocking the scarf, man.
I
Um,
thought you had a Steve Jobs look. I thought that was a turtleneck.
no.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, I mean the other thing I think is so round two show all showdown rounds, but people grossly overreact to like what the actual score someone shot is. So round one one of these top 5 comes out and shoots 4 under, 5 under, then that person's 40% owned. And then you get like, so say that's JT, you get Rory, Bryson, and DJ are all like under 20. You're like, man, any of these guys are going to go out there and have just as good a chance as JT tomorrow. So like that to me is a huge play.
A good example you had was round 4 Waste Management Open where you nailed Rory, who I think was close.
He was like 6 or 7% owned.
And he got like 65 points.
Yeah, because those guys can go out. I mean, everyone talks about the backdoor top 10s. The reason they do that is because every round of golf they play, they're more likely to go low than anyone else. So just real quick, Barry, I think that if Bubba is low owned, I think he could be I think that could be great value. Because to me, so the one concern I have, Bubba is very like, I mean, boomer bust. He's 60% cuts made, or sorry, cuts made is essentially he has withdrawn in 2017,
right.
But that's lumped into a missed cut essentially the way I've put this together. But his average finish when he's made the cut is 7.5. Yeah. So 6 of the last 10 years he's averaged 7.5, and then in 4 times he's missed the cut. So to me it's a great GPP play. But I just didn't get there. I went heavier on Niemann and Hovland. I have 30% on both those guys.
Wow. Okay, so I got Niemann 20%. I got Hovland 15%. A little bit of worries just with course history. Hovland has played here at the 2017 USM. He got 7 birdies in a row. There's a great clip of him.
7 bogeys.
7 bogeys in a row. 7 bogeys in a row. But like he's laughing about it. I absolutely love his attitude. I think they're just ascending talents.
They're ascending. I also think they're streaky. Like I think these are guys that could go out and win the tournament, but they're also guys that could finish in the 40s and you wouldn't even blink. But so it's, if I went very blue chip, chalky, low floor above this is where I've gone a little bit more like high upside potential, I think.
Myron said he faded DJ for Johnson, and I don't know if that's a Dustin. I don't know what's going on.
I'm assuming he's just saying he faded DJ, but as I said, I'm hoping that enough people did that I've gone heavy on DJ, and so I'm cool with it.
Let me scroll up here. Miami Mike Scheffler for all the money. I got to Scheffler. I got 15% Scheffler. I didn't know if I was going to get there. He's actually wasn't initially on my target list, but as I was kind of diving deeper into stats, he can pop.
I'm not there on Scheffler. I don't have any. I think that likely we've seen him turn the corner, though. So I'm cool with it. I just haven't got there.
And we kind of talked about with Connors and Davis, I think, in our sleepers video, the fact that they have played here is almost enough for me. Like, I don't really like if people have the first competitive round. Like, it doesn't seem like they can go out and win. That doesn't happen very often. But even having 2 rounds here and a missed cut, you've played here a couple times. The court. It's not a mystery to you.
Yeah, so Myron, I don't know if you were here at the start, but Adam was talking. Adam's, I don't know how heavy, but you like Bryson this week.
Yeah, I got 25% Bryson.
Yeah, and I think Bryson's a good upside play. I've decided to go on DJ. But anyway, so sticking with this range. Sorry.
Cameron Champ, PY just sent it out. I just got it on Twitter notification here from PGA Tour Communications. Cameron Champ is a withdrawal. Change your lineups if you got him in.
Change your lineups. I hope they shuffle the feature groups around a bit.
That's an interesting
because
one.
that's going to be tough for Andrew Putnam playing with Rory and Bryson.
So we got the bomber group.
50 yards back here. One of the things I like, so Xander and Rory were playing together. I think that must have been at the Waste Management. And there's a few times that someone was like clearly 30, 40, 50 yards ahead. And they're like, oh, like you could see Rory even got at Xander here. And they're like, oh, no, that's Xander up ahead. And like, I think people underestimate how much of a bomber Xander is.
Yeah.
Just because he's not a big guy.
Okay, we're dragging here. Let's go.
We're dragging. So Leash is a fade for me.
I know he's getting tons of talk. So this is interesting on golf Twitter. Data Golf had him at 250 to 1, and Ben Coley picked him at 50.
I say Coley.
I say Cooley.
We'll have to find out.
But like, it's amazing. That's how far off. Like, these are very intellectual golf
Yeah.
like experts and how far
So
off.
so to me, and like I think it's just a little bit of a difference in approach. Like data golf is very, very analytical, numbers
Yes. Yeah.
based,
Yeah.
and so I think they are going to miss on someone like Leishman. It's the same thing with Brooks, like, or say Gary Woodling. Like I
Yeah.
think if you're doing it beyond just the numbers, you'll see like clearly that guy's a different guy than he was a month ago when we saw him at a
Yes. Yes.
tournament. And so I saw that exchange, and I sort of took Ben Coley's side, which I have not been very high on Leishman for the last while, but I think we did see him start to turn a corner.
I agree. I agree, but I didn't get there.
I'm not there in DFS. No.
So yeah, Lil Scheffler, no Cameron Smith, but I love his mullet. I'm trying to kind of match his length in the back. Will Zalatoris, Craig. Sorry, do you have any of those guys?
No chef. So no, I still kept it tight. So I have only 7 players 8K or above. So I've kept it super tight through these ranges. I went heavy on Neiman Hovland, and then I skipped Scheffler, although he would have been the one that I would be most likely to plug in until Zalatoris. Zalatoris, I am 30% on.
Wow, man, you love your kid. I swear. I got
Well,
him.
I still think he could be. Yeah, I do. I think.
I got him in one. Yeah.
First off, I don't think AT&T. I don't think Pebble is a great fit for him. I think he does, and I think I might have said that last week as a pick, that I think he might be someone who, like this course, you need distance more. He is clearly someone who that's one of the strengths he brings to the board. I still think that this guy has upside that we don't quite know yet.
I love that as a leverage play. That is a great example of shooting your shot. That you're shooting your shot. Yeah.
I think the other cautionary thing with Zalatoris, I mean, I just blow right back past caution, but we saw him start to get worn down in the fall when he was playing however many tournaments in a row, going right from the Corn Ferry to the U.S. Open, and then rolling through sponsors exemptions and keeping his top 10, then going to the next tournament and using that exemption. So I think that potentially he might be starting to get worn down. He's played a lot of tournaments in a row here, but I still think, to me, there's just a talent level there that I'm still going to ride it for a bit.
Okay, quickly, Homa, yes or no?
No, I think his game's in a good shape. I like it. I just don't like the price.
Yeah.
If he was high 7s, I would have thought about it. I just think it's creeping up there a bit high.
It seems like opposite of Spieth, and I feel bad almost saying this, but Spieth is like high confidence, but like spraying, and Homa seems to be like hitting the ball so well, but he doesn't have that confidence to close on a ROM, or I don't. That might be completely misinterpreting it, but like the talent is outpacing kind of the finish almost.
Yeah, I think it's also, so in a DFS point of view, I think the reality is he's a really popular player. Like it is,
Yes,
it's like
absolutely.
Spieth and Ricky Fowler to me, where the fact that they're as popular as golfers and with him also because he's such a good media guy. I think that his ownership is always going to be a little bit higher until for some reason people decide to turn on him and not like him. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. So
Okay.
I'm going to be cheering for Homa, and I'll probably end up with him in showdowns depending on how the week goes. But
Barry's itching for it. Let's talk about Matthew Wolff.
Yeah, I didn't get there. Sorry, I was just reading Myron about Leash. Wolf, I didn't get there.
Click on Wolff
he's
to see his recent form here.
He's volatile. I think he has upside, and it is a course that likes distance. I mean, we saw him at the Farmers. We saw that injury obviously is not as bad as potentially it was going. We saw him play the next week and be fine. And this course I think does suit him better than Waste Management. I just still think there's just an inconsistency there. I think he's someone who I like more right now as a guy that can go to weaker fields and win. I mean, that said, he almost won the U.S. Open, but I just don't see him where his game's at right now.
I completely agree. I just don't think it's there.
And it could just be it's not passing the eye test in the last little bit.
Yeah, I'm just not there. Like I'm still long on his talent, but short term, I'm just not there. And I kind of I can't really explain it like you. Like maybe it is an eye test thing. And like Hideki, I want to see a little bit something before kind of going in.
Yeah. Bubba's maybe not the worst comparison in terms of, I think Wolf may always be a little bit like Bubba has won more than you would expect someone to like him, and he also can miss a cut, and you're not shocked at all. I think that might be a little bit what Matthew Wolf is until maybe he gets more consistency as he's still what 21.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so now
let's go. Kokrak, nah answer. Do you have any of those guys?
No.
I got one answer, but he also sent a tweet today about him in snow in Texas, it seemed like. So I'm going to wake up and double check that he's at the tournament. That could be from a couple days ago. I don't know. But here's where it gets interesting, Craig.
So someone had mentioned Kokrak versus Ortiz. I don't mind Kokrak here, but I've gone heavy on Ortiz.
I think Kokrak's a good leverage play. I don't think many people will get there. I think a lot of people are on Ortiz. I actually think I might be a little bit under. He was one of my picks, or he was your picks, my picks.
Ortiz. Yeah. I think I ended up with him. We both liked him. There's sometimes there's guys we both like, and we have to decide who's going to take him. I think he was mine though this week.
Whoever has more conviction with it.
Yeah. So answer. Yeah, I did not get there. I did not get Henley.
Craig, I have 35% Henley.
So this was one of the harder ones for me to leave out.
Oh, I don't know.
And let me tell you why I didn't get there.
Why?
I don't really remember.
His approach play is stellar. He's got a top 20 here, a 17th?
17th here.
Okay, there's that group of guys that are they're coming for a win. It's him, it's Davis, it's Tringali, it's Burns. Like
See, I feel like he's cooled off. I feel like
he has
maybe the other thing, he's not long off the tee. I think it's a course you need to be long off the tee. I think he's more accurate off the tee than long. I don't mind the play. Like obviously he was 17th here last year, so obviously he can play the course. I don't think he's going to win, but you don't need a win from him at this range.
He is 9th in the model as well, but his approach play is
I'm just not a slave to the numbers like you.
Oh God. Okay, you want to talk about Ortiz?
Yeah, I mean, so conversely, I think Ortiz has the length. He's done well here before. His form's a bit better. So to me, if it was 2 or 3 months ago and we saw Henley was just like cruising, it seemed like he was sort of in contention or top 10ing every week. I just feel like he's cooled off a bit since then. Yeah. Whereas Ortiz, I feel like, we've seen him kind of moving his way up, and so I just really like him. I think the course suits him.
My only thing with Ortiz this week is I think he might be chalky. We talked about it.
I think he will be. I think he's going to potentially be like one of the highest owned guys.
He was a stock up in the podcast, I think 2 weeks ago, and I think we all agreed basically like we need to accept that he's in a tier above where the public perception of him is. Like he is playing really, really well.
And like after he was stock up, he's going to be way chalkier now.
Yeah.
I think ownership is the problem. I have, what do I have? 30%. So this is my last guy at 30%, and then we started to get into, I have a lot of guys in the 7Ks. I have.
This is Greg. This is where my chart lights up.
It lights up with like good plays.
Yeah, I highlighted my over 30 plays, and it is all yellow right here. Let me tell you about it. Can we go past Siwoo Kim?
Oh, so do you just want to jump into who your 40% plays are?
Yeah, I do, because they're all right in this range.
Okay.
By Siwoo Kim. No, it's not Siwoo Kim. We have a Masters champ who in his last 2 tournaments was 8th stroke gained tee to green at Saudi, 2nd stroke gained tee to green at Dubai. He's priced at 7,700, and he's getting absolutely no talk this week. I have 40% Sergio.
That's cool.
Well,
I don't.
Okay, so that's
I like the play. I think it's a good upside play.
I mean, I don't understand how he's priced below veterans like Kevin Na and Kokrak. Like, he has way more upside than those guys. I mean, his amount of wins worldwide is better than most of the field. He's playing well right now. He could absolutely explode. That's why I play GPPs. He can absolutely shoot
Mhm.
80, 82 and
I like.
yeah.
I think he has the upside. Like that's what I like about the play.
Okay. I
I'm zero on him,
I was
but
ready. I'm getting fired up. I was expecting better than a pat on the back, but
no,
okay.
like I like it. Like to me, it's a total shoot your shot. Like I think that you're right. I think that he is not getting any talk.
And,
Um,
and this is where,
we don't have the European events in this recent
and
results.
that's why I wanted to look it up because I know he has played well this year.
Hmm.
And that's where I feel like got super different. Like I can go DJ, I can go Finau, and then Sergio kind of mixes it up almost.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. Like, I think that you kind of have, we say shoot your shot, I think way too much, but you do have to, like, you do have to decide where you're going to take your shots. And
Yeah.
that, like, Sergio is going to be when you're going to have leverage on the field if Sergio plays well.
Cameron Tringali, 40%. I talked about him on our pick show.
Sorry, just real quick. Miami Mike, Sergio scares me too. That's why I didn't get there this week.
Sergio absolutely scares me. He absolutely scares. Oh,
Yeah.
he also has two top fives here. I feel like I don't need to say that, but he's got two top fives here. Um, okay, my 40%. Let me get to my 40%. Cameron Tringali, talked about on our pick show, all the reasons there. Corey Connors, 45%. Talked about on our sleeper show. One of the best ball strikers in the field. The only thing that scares me is course history. Cameron Davis, 40%. One of the best ball strikers, again, possibly in the world, up and coming talent, has played here but missed the
I
cut.
feel like you can get away with saying one of the best ball strikers a lot more when it's not a week where like DJ and Rory and like yes, these guys are great ball strikers, but anyway, sorry. So
Well,
we got Tringale, we've got
there's
Connors,
120 great ball strikers in this field, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
But um,
Cam Davis.
last one is Sam Burns, and this is the one I'm probably least confident in.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna ride Sam Burns until he burns me. I did not mean to do that. I apologize. Um, but I feel like talking like Henley, like Tringali, like Davis, a win is around the corner. It's probably not going to be here, but he is playing well enough that I'm gonna play him.
Yeah, so first off, I agree. I have all these guys over 20% that you've just brought up.
Okay.
Tom, I think Wolf has tons of upside. And so, like, to me, that's the kind of guy I'm fine with the play because he can go out there and he can compete in the field.
So
It's more.
I don't know if our chat comes across for replay right away, but Tom said Wolf top 10, strokes gained approach, loves POA, good ball striker, bombs it off the tee. Um,
And he's waving at you saying, play me, play me. He wasn't waving at me, obviously. Otherwise, maybe I would have if he was like, yo, Craig, play me. Okay, so just real quick. The one guy you left out of, well, there's two guys you left out of this range that I played.
yeah.
So all those guys I have either 20 or 25%. Also, Matty Fitzpatrick. I think that maybe I took some of your Sergio argument and put it onto Matty Fitzpatrick because
Hey, sneaky, I got him in one.
to me he seems like he's low price. He should be higher. Maybe just it should be higher in the 7Ks. I just think it's potential value there.
He's one of those guys that like, yeah, he like a WGC, a major, he just kind of sneaks up there.
He can
'cause
play well and
yeah.
yeah. The other one was James Hahn, and it's a course history play.
Okay, and then he's at, sorry, what's the price there? He's at
75. So he's my lowest owned. I have a bunch of guys in this range. Obviously, because all the guys you had just brought up are in this range. He's the lowest owned. I only have 15% of him.
And an earlier question from Myron said, how much Lanto Griffin do you guys have? I did get actually 10% Lanto as well at 7,400.
Yeah. So we mentioned Tringale, Fitzpatrick, James Hahn, Cameron Davis, Connors, Burns. I have also Lanto, and then I went Norlander. So like this is essentially my thesis this tournament, I guess, is I'm loading up on like a very few guys, like DJ, Cantlay,
Yeah,
Xander,
up top.
Finau
Yeah.
up top, And then here I'm spreading it out and hoping that like I pick a few of these guys in this range that work. And then
and mine is like a classic bell curve. Like my ownership is so condensed in this middle part here. And
you're
then
just
spreading.
so sure that these guys are hitting that you just need to get some other things right elsewhere.
I just need to get whoever up in the top 6 wants to win. I'll load up with my guys in the middle, and then yeah, a
Yeah,
sleeper or two.
so if there's anyone you guys want us to chat about in this 76, 75, 74 range, let us know. But those are all my plays.
Let's go maybe 7,400 to 7,000.
Well, so did you have any thoughts on Norlander? You're not there?
I'm not there. I'm just waiting for him to come back to reality. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm purely riding the recent form, and mainly the recent form ball striking. Like that's to me what stands out is his off the tee and approach. I mean, he's been gaining over a stroke, some weeks almost 2 strokes ball striking. So if obviously he's hitting the ball well right now, if that continues, I think he'll overachieve for his price, and that's.
You want to do a couple of rapid fire guys in the chat here, Craig?
So where's Fratelli? 73 or 70?
Luke List, you just passed Luke List. Barry, no Luke List love from me.
I have him. I'll get to him. I can't find Fratelli here though. I think he's further down, so we'll get to him in a sec. Yeah. List I got to. It's in large part a course history play. It's a combination of a course history play and a recent form. 3 straight top 30s. He's made 4 of 5 cuts here. Average finish 23 when he's made the cut, and gaining over a stroke around. So to me, it's like the model doesn't like him. I'm just essentially buying that he's playing decent golf right now, and of course he's played decent at before.
And it's because his recent history is he's turned the corner 3 tournaments, it seems like. So it is pretty small sample size, I think. Mm-hmm. I mean, the talent is absolutely there with Luke List. Can he hit a fairway? That's always my number one question. Can he, if he hits a fairway and he sticks it to 5 feet, can he convert that? That's my follow-up question. And if he does, he's super talented.
Yeah. So both these guys, I'm 20% on Norlander and on List. And then there's one other guy.
List, Norlander.
Yeah, man.
I don't have
JT Poston is one of my single play. He's one of my 5%. I don't even remember why. I always feel like this always happens, and I can't remember why I can justify my JT Poston play. But 2 straight. Okay, so tied for 11th, tied for 18th, last 2 starts. 3 of 3 cuts made, average finish 25, gaining over a stroke and a half. So similar to List, I think it's a combo of we've seen him play well recently. We've seen him play well at the course.
Yep.
It's not something I invested a lot in, but I thought I took a single bullet shot on it.
Yeah. Tom T asked Sleeper Hadwin. He is the next guy down here. Craig, you mentioned Hadwin in our Sleepers video.
Yeah.
Where'd you end up?
20%.
Okay.
6 of 6 cuts made, average finish 30, stroke and a half. His it's not as good, the recent form, especially waste management, obviously. But I think we have seen him turn a little bit in the last 3 tournaments. And I think we're going to continue to see that. So I'm just sort of taking the shot that I think he does well in big fields. I think he does well in this course. It's just a value play to me.
Yeah, I think he's fine play. The only thing that scares me, I mentioned it, is the negative approach. Brandon B, you will be excited to hear. You're going to want to hear the replay as well. I got 35% Henley. I was ecstatic about it. I laid down the reasons why. Yes, Henley.
I did not get there, but I'm cool with it. Okay, so anyone else you have in this range? I have one more above 7K.
Yeah, I got a couple here. I've got
Gooch.
These are 1 lineups. I got Gooch, I got Griot, I got Keegan Bradley in 1, and I actually got KH Lee in 2. Just kind of spreading out the lower 7Ks here.
So Gooch, good course history. It seems like he's someone I had expected he was going to be playing a little bit better over these last maybe month, 2 months than he has been. But I think that that rise is coming still.
Yeah.
It's hard with me with this narrow frame.
I
All my
know.
hand gestures just go.
I've had really good hand gestures, especially in the mid sevens. I was all over. I was counting. I was doing things. You can't see
Anyways.
him. Can't see him.
So Gooch, yeah, to me it's a course history play, and I think he is going to turn the corner. So sorry, you have Cooch, or no? You said Griot, Bradley.
Yeah, I got Gooch, I got Griot, I got Bradley, all in a single lineup. Bradley's probably the most interesting to me. KH Lee, I got in 2 lineups.
KHC's great course history, decent form. I didn't get there. I think he's going to be high owned.
A little
Was
bit
my main
chalky,
justification. Yeah.
Over 10.
But I like the play.
Yeah.
6Ks. So yeah, let me see where Noren is. Is he down? Oh, so Noren, I didn't get there myself. I would have to look at why. He's got good course history. I mean, maybe not so much last year, but did well here in 18. Sorry?
He hasn't been like his 2021 stats aren't good. Like,
but if you believe in that he's turning the corner, then it's a fine play. I'm not there. No love. No, we're giving Hadwin the love.
Craig's got like 20% or something.
I've got 20% on Hadwin. Matt Jones, I didn't get there this week. Probably because of course history. His form's good. I mean, there's nothing flashy about it, but he hasn't missed a cut since Sanderson. He's been, top 35 in 4 of the last 5. I'm cool with the Matt Jones play.
I mean, more of these guys are going to make the cut. We got 120 some players.
Yeah. And this to me is the range. And I'm gonna pick on. I think it was Tim who said this. Tim Brown. I'm gonna pick on him a bit because he was the one who brought up Lashley last week. And then I think he said he didn't end up playing him. So, like, this is the type of plays I think any DFS plays in golf. If like you got a good gut feeling about a guy, then like you gotta take your shot with him because golf is so crazy and things. It's so much flatter than so many other sports.
I mean, if we're in the 6K range and we find someone with like good ball striking, good history, good form, that could maybe take away like 15% of the randomness of golf. Like, it's good, but like find whatever you want to find and play the plays. Like, you got to go with your gut.
But the other thing is, like, if everything was perfect about these guys, they would be higher, So like, there's going to be green lights and there's going to be red lights, and it's just a matter of like, what do you buy into?
And even if someone's hitting the ball well, there's so like. In more so than any other sport, there's bad breaks.
You hit the ball well and you come up a yard from your number and you end up stuck in a bunker that costs you a stroke and a half.
Who was in the Knox last week? He had a brutal lip out and then he got a penalty. Like, that's you can't there's no reason for that.
There's no reason except it killed more of my lineups last week.
Yeah.
Man, last week just felt like one that got away. Like, it was a profitable week, but man, it should have been with all how many guys made it through the cut in my lineups, it just was a shame.
I enjoyed last week. I got off good.
You're feeling good. So I've got 2 at 69. You can probably guess.
Okay, Doug Gim is going to be chalk. There was talk earlier. Is he going to be under 5%? Is he going to be around 11%? I think he's going to be high. He's probably one of the highest 0-6 guys.
So what do you? To me, that's like 10 to 15% probably.
I
don't know though.
I think he'll be closer to 15%. He seems to be on everyone's sleeper list, on everyone's long shot list. I think he's going to be closer to 15% for sure.
And I'm fine with it still. Like, I have him 20%.
I got him 25. So clearly I'm good with it. I'm going overweight.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at PY. He's just knocks at the fairway and he took him in a live bet. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your misery. I'm laughing with your misery, I think.
We're in this together. It's a collective.
Yeah. Matthew Neesmith's the other guy at 69 that I got too.
Really?
Yeah, he's hitting the ball really well.
Only reason is he hasn't played the course. So
And when you're hitting approach shots like that, it doesn't matter if you've played the course. Let's be serious.
He was a late cut.
No, I think he'll attract ownership. To me, it's similar to my Norlander play. It's focused heavily on what they've been doing, striking the ball recently, and thinking that some of that form might continue.
Sorry, was he your other 69? Yes, he was.
Yes.
Munoz is one of your sleepers.
Munoz is another one I got to here. And it's an upside play. I think that his recent form hasn't been as good. A single tournament here, 26th. I think the course suits him. He hits it a long ways. He's a good ball striker. He just hasn't been getting the results lately. 3 of the last 5 missed cuts, but we saw before that he was on a bit of a tear for where he's priced.
It's bet on the year long rather than
I'm betting long term form over recent form.
Yeah. Surprised that people can win after 3 missed cuts. I mean,
so then we're into a few of my longer shots. I mean, I guess these guys are a little bit longer shots themselves.
So here's where I went. So I got 1 HV3, I got 1 Mackenzie Hughes, I got 1 Doc Redman, and then I got my boy at 6,100 in 15% of my lineups.
Jim Furyk.
Nope.
Sorry, 64?
61.
Oh, Wes Bryant.
Yeah.
So just real quick, because I'll go through that same range. I did not go HV3 this week. Once bitten, twice shy, I think, making the emotional play away from him. Doc Redman I got to, and then I went Jim Furyk, man. You're gonna be sad when Furyk is out there making cuts.
You know what? I think that's a great play. Highest greens regulation in the PGA Tour. He's playing well. What's he priced at? Yeah, that's 64.
Yeah. So some of my ones where I combined DJ and Xander, I had to get creative to make some money work. And so Doc and Furyk. And then there's one other guy I went all the way to the bottom for. I saw Ogletree was one who was brought up. Oh, Ogletree withdrew apparently. But Steele is someone, I don't actually know where he's priced. He's someone I've heard chatted about this week. But I went a single, maybe it's an emotional play on Willie Mack. I don't know if you guys know the story, but he's got a great story. I think maybe I'm overreading into it, but he sounds like he's a gamer. So if he can go out there and make a cut and sneak his way into a top 30 or something, it let me do some fun things with that lineup because he cost 6,000. So I took a single bullet shot with him. Austin Cook is another guy I like down there. I cut him, but he was one of the ones that was one of my later cuts.
I like Austin Cook as well, actually. I just want Wes Bryant instead.
So Wes Bryant was one of my later cuts as well. I don't know if it's a consistency thing. There's just something. I feel like I've got, probably it's been these red ones here. I feel like I've got burned with him recently.
Yeah.
I like the Hughes play. Sorry, were you?
Yeah, I think Wes Bryant does have a top 5 here. I think he's kind of a mystery. Like, he doesn't play much. His sample size is so small, so he pops with his approach. I don't know. Maybe he'll get some good mojo from Bubba.
Sorry, and how heavy did you say you went?
Just 15%.
Oh, yeah.
He opened up some DJ, some I want to say even like 2 10K ones, but I don't know if that's right. Yeah. Like actually, that's how I did it.
So you have somewhere you have 2 10Ks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have lots of those?
No, I have some.
Okay. So most of yours, you have one guy above 10K, and then you dip into the 9K as your next play.
I mean, going back to the earlier show, I also have a lineup I love starting at Finau. Because I really think Finau can win.
Super balanced.
And that's going to be contrarian, I think. That's going to be super contrarian.
Yeah. I think it will be. Yeah. Man, I'm excited. I feel like talking through this, I feel like all the better about my plays. I think I did a great job making my lineups.
I kind of felt, I don't know, I felt strange about this week because it seemed like obvious and it seemed like I had the good, like, I feel like, why is nobody talking about Sergio? I'm going to go all on Sergio and just be different. And if that doesn't work, that doesn't work. But he's a ball striker who's won the Masters, who has 2 top 5s here. I'm going to shoot my shot there. Like,
That's kind of how I feel about Fitzpatrick. I mean, all different because he's more the putter than the ball striker, and he hasn't won the Masters. But like, he's 76, and no one seems to be talking about him. Really, all I need is to avoid JT, Rory, Rom, and Bryson doing well, and Brooks. So like, it's basically a sure thing. Um, no, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm comfortable with my plays up high that they'll do decently.
yeah.
The thing that, like, if DJ or Xander blows up,
Yeah.
then I'm screwed.
Head to our Discord if you want to join. I can't even get my fingers in here. Where's my fingers?
Sorry, and Charles, I actually almost ended up with Charles in my pool as well. I forget where exactly he is. But
Fire off anything else, questions, golf comments, whatever. But head to our Discord if you want a cool community to join and talk about golf on the weekend or Thursday, Friday.
if you're not already in there, yeah.
If you're not, subscribe to our channel. Hit the thumbs up.
I think the guilty pleasure plays are one of my favorite too. Like, I feel like for me a little bit, all of my guys below, so like Munoz at 68 is like, it's not a guilty pleasure play. Like, it's an upside. I'm sort of making the play with my head. I feel like Doc is maybe a little bit a cross between a guilty pleasure play and a like, I like his.
He's a little guilty pleasure. Yeah.
And then Furyk and Willie Mack are both guilty pleasure plays.
I mean, I like Furyk.
No Higgs, Barry. Man.
I don't know what's going on with the big beauty.
I know. He's just I've been burnt with him too much recently. He's at 61 or 62, right? Yeah, 62.
Eric, so Eric's normally go balanced, but with perfect weather, I think one of the big gun wins this week. I kind of do agree, but
that's why you're playing all of them.
But that's why I'm playing all of them. But I also consider Finau a big gun.
Yeah.
Hammering 210K or getting 210K and hammering a low 7K. I just thought the 7,400 to 7,800 was so much more talented than 7,400 to 7,000 to me. It seemed like a huge leap. It seemed like a different tier altogether.
Yeah, and I think that, part of that to me is that even if it's more likely that one of these top guns, one of these big guns, one of these top guys wins than Finau or lower, if that happens, then, like if the balance lineup turns into the best play, I think there's going to be very, very, very few people who go full balance this week. So like, I think that's essentially, like if it's got a 5% chance of happening, but if that 5% comes and you're looking golden because no one else has gone there.
Well, I mean, let's look at the contest sizes DraftKings this week. But
the other thing, keep an eye on those contests, because when I was it last night or this morning when I was finishing making my lineups, like a lot of them were less than half full.
Yeah, there's the $15 300K to first is 60,000 of 94,000. That's the kind of contest where I'm going to either like hammer Sergio or go balance, because like you said, 5% chance it happens, I'm going to be in the top 5%. But when you look at a 20 max with 47 entries, that's where I'm like, okay, spray up top, maybe a little bit more conservative. The other thing, we talked a lot in the Discord about the Cascade.
Core Cascade.
I find it very hard when my core is 7,800 to 7,400 to then swap out, because all of my core is right there.
Well, the idea is that your core is not all within...
I know. So I went away from that.
So did you tried the core Cascade down at a lower level again?
I did last week and it was great because
I might actually try that this week with a lower level.
It's really interesting. And yeah, come in our Discord and we can talk about it. But it's a great all or nothing if you have that conviction lineup that you feel really good about. And if
I have conviction.
You don't lack that.
Whether it's justified or not, it is there.
Okay, should we call it there? Sign off?
Yeah, maybe if you haven't planted your flag on someone you feel good about, then do so in the comments below. And if not, most of you guys I think we see in the Discord. So we'll chat with you as the tournament goes on, and we'll see you guys live tomorrow night for Showdown
Oh, yeah.
Round 2.
Absolutely. Good luck,
All right,
everybody.
take care,
Let's do
guys.
it.
Good luck.